Or get your mats if you're going to do some stretch outs. Get your weights. If you're going to do some weights. Get your chair. You're going to do chair exercises. Stand up, you walk in place. Line up, you walk from wall to wall. I said get your weights, right? Jump on your bike. Start your treadmill.
Power on. No control.
Hey, y'all. Hey, y'all. I moved the fan. I put it someplace else. So I was a little late for the designing. I was designing. Okay. Here we go. One camera is perfioso. Good to go. And the other one isn't. Okay. That should be just about do it. Well, that's one. Do y'all count? Y'all have a drink every time I gotta jump down and fix the camera up. Hey y'all, hey y'all. Thanks for coming on the walk. Like, comment, share. Tell an uncle, tell an auntie, tell a cousin, tell a friend to subscribe and please exercise with me. Oh, y'all. I gotta tell you, this 40-minute walk loosened up so many things that wouldn't loosen up. And I hadn't stirred the air enough. I hadn't shook it loose. And that's another thing exercise does. So with me doing this 40 minutes for 6 weeks, which y'all probably will never happen again, I loosened it up. And of course, my back feels good. And getting the weight off the stomach, which is awesome. Oh, this stomach used to feel like lead on my thighs and legs. Not so much since the 40-minute walk. Everything comes out after the walk, y'all. And so that's about where I'm coming from. I have the fan like right in front of me. But if I didn't sweat when I walk, I didn't feel like I was doing anything. You know? So, what the crowd wants. I know y'all don't understand this crowd talk. You think it's totally ridiculous. They're just wealthy people that you admire that have yachts and diamonds and all that stuff. You never see them as dangerous people, as very powerful and dangerous people who on this penal colony, the British Royals, have a lot to say. I mean, it's penal colony. We're the British Royals, Guantanamo Bay. So, I've never found them to be anything other than liars, manipulators, haters of Africans, who if they had not crossed out of Africa into Europe, you'd have still been sitting there drinking your piss. But I'm not going there. But the mixed race crowd, I tell y'all, if they ain't changing yet, next time y'all go to those museums, look closely at the old royalty complexion. And they ain't got nothing to do with, oh, they had to use it like this because it's only like this. But they wasn't skin wasn't brown like that. They were a complexion of my sister. And she's mixed race. But they put the black African on penal colonies as prisoner of war all over this globe. And started and we hate black people, we hate African campaign, which I was born into. And I'm not finding out, put it together. All the reading and looking and digging. Because y'all go ahead and sit your asses in that in them lying colleges. One professor tells a lie, the other professor backs it up, and then a third writes another book, and all of a sudden it comes true. It's a lie. So, they tell you about all that Roman dumb shit. Anything to cover the fact that the Africans were in Europe. All. Let's go back to New York. That's when it really hit me. The New York, archaeological dig where they found all those bodies of people. It used to be an old slave graveyard for the Dutch. They was getting them Africans out of Holland like you would not believe and putting them in this new Amsterdam. They didn't go over to Africa and drag them out of Africa and then bring them over here. That's bullshit. That's how long. Hey, thanks for coming on the walk. I'll read your message afterwards, but I think I see a heart. Yeah. I'll read it on the break. Thanks for coming on the walk. Yeah. That's what I learned now. I was like, what? Spain? What? Then you find out that's how African crossed in to Europe. But them mixed races, honey, whew, that's why they'll call it racism and discrimination. It's not. It's just people hating the African that is inside of them, but using what they feel ruthlessly on people who are African looking on the outside. I guess the kids hate the racists. There's millions of them. Millions. But it's okay because it's a penal colony. So, again, another myth. The Santa Maria, the Pinta, the Pica, and the Puka, and the Tina. 3 little boats that came across the sea to the New World. Okay. The ruling Africans of Europe, even before they ruled Europe, they had already mapped out this whole fucking planet. You didn't find nothing. You had fucking maps, Spain. You had fucking maps, France. You had fucking maps, Holland. You had fucking maps, Britain. If your dumbass couldn't read them, well, that's on you. You didn't stumble upon nothing. The Africans had already been here. Oh, no. No. The crown said no. Because if we trace African back to Europe, they will see that we are European Africans. And we say we're white. So don't let it connect back. See, we got them out of Africa. And that's the only thing you want to teach in school. Get them while they're young, what they don't know. That's the royals. Y'all still ain't get why they went ass ham when Meghan Markle was there? Meghan Markle and them first kings and queens of Europe looked just like her. They were mixed race. They hated her being there. For she tapped into the African blood that is them. That's all the Prince Philip, Philip, Powder. And that's when all that shit was back and forth. Marry from Spain, marry Germany, marry. They're like, it's over land, it's over there. Trying to breed out the African blood. Okay? Birth out. The African blood. They hated me, Meghan. Especially the Queen. They was like, we buried that. We buried that. We even started putting white powder. Go to the museum. You see how tan they were. Like the lightest skinned African you can think of. That was them. And then it really got bad. Because you can see they got African in them. So then they started putting, just like the African ancestors, white paint on their face. You say, where did they get the white paint on the face from? Their African ancestors. Oh, if I didn't love this body, I would tap out. Because the ridiculousness of it, I would freaking tap out. When you think of all the horrors you do to humans, they do to humans just to prove they ain't got no African in them. The better that they are because Africa came into Europe. You see, when you put them on boats and send them out, ain't y'all get the rat plague and the nasty disease this and the nasty disease that? All kind of diseases when you got the Africans out of Europe because you didn't even know how to keep yourself sanitized. That's how advanced y'all was. Didn't even know sanitation. So that's why the royals hate Meghan Markle. They will not acknowledge those kids because that's what they're covering up. The whole basement. I remember my daughter went to Bridgerton and they had all those gowns with the big butt things that came out here and the squash. And European Africans, that African booty was there. Now y'all say Kardashian. Because when you used to say big butt, like African Americans, no, my mother is not like an African American. No. I hate it. I hate this big butt. It's like an African American. There ain't no African in me. But then you were able to start saying Kardashian. And I said, oh, European African. Oh, I have a big butt like a Kardashian. Not like Africans and African Americans. The stupidity makes me, if I didn't love this body, it makes me want to tap out. That's how dumb. They got everything to make men's penis bigger. Why? Like the African men. Why? But for them, if they got a big dick, they proud to call it African. I love this body, because if not, I tap out. This bullshit sometimes get to be too great. So, I had asked myself, back when I was in school, everything we learned, British, English, nothing of African. Nothing. I remember the teacher going around asking little kids. At that time, they hadn't done what they called these European Africans white flight. More like Negroes on the run. So, we was in class, and they said, well, where are you from? Yeah. And it's, oh, because we had a few of them. Ireland, Germany, Italy. I didn't know. I was told I was a Negro. They didn't say where Negroes came from at that stage. So I remember saying, ooh, 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 oh, where did I come from? Teacher would change subject. They never said. They never said, well, you're African. You're supposed to be from Africa. But the truth was, they're supposed to say, Europe, your ancestors were prisoners of war, put on this penal colony to get them out of Europe. Your skin is black like the African, but Europe. Now with all the mixing, we don't know if you're Spanish, Europe, Portuguese, Europe, France, Europe. You see what I'm saying? Because with all the mixing of all of those European Africans getting the black Africans out of Europe, they bundle them together. Sometimes Spain hits the boat with France. Sometimes they was just getting them out of Africa. And as I told you, that not with the Russians and the Germans. They were annihilating them. And any of them mixed race children, to this day, they're hunting down like rabid dogs. Do you see these European Africans don't change? Ugh, that's my note. They don't change. But that's who we are. We're the arm of the royal kings. And I'll tell you, ain't no reparation, ain't no nothing for us on this penal colony until we leave it, because the crown remembers when we were in Europe, and they are afraid that that may happen again, and they will starve us. And I feel bad because, like, with Medicare for old people, they could get way more. But because my skin is black, if I'm getting anything, because you know they made sure to employ me where I ain't getting shit. So they don't even want me to get that shit. So they're making sure nobody gets anything halfway decent. Now if you're wealthy, you're executive, You've always had managerial positions, so yeah, you won't come out good. But that's planned. They made sure we never got those positions. So we always be at the bottom. And that's where it is now. The value, vile. But the king's the puppet, the king is the puppet master. These wardens are the puppets. And us descendants of the African slaves put on this penal colony is the hockey stick. The hockey puck. So, here you go. Oh, if I didn't love this body so much, it never did nothing to me. It never did me no wrong. And that's why we staying here for this body. But the minute this body said, I had it, it's enough, I'm so, whew, I've been awaiting. And in 3 days, y'all, I'll be out. I'll be off this. I'll be walking out of this disco. The vileness. Hey, y'all. Ooh, I gotta clean my glasses. Hey, Jared. Hi, hello. Hey, E. Hello, Caleb. How you doing? I gotta get this paper towel, y'all. And I gotta remember to bring some down. Yeah. So, I really couldn't understand all this royal stuff. And the royals are white. And I told y'all for a long time ago, I could see African in people. But people say, oh, you're so stupid. You can't see it. They white. I'm like, no, they're not, because they're not. They're European Africans. Humans. They did just like their African ancestors. Put white paint all over themselves to either scare, intimidate, or manipulate people. They still doing that. I'm looking at this podcaster that came out of South Africa. When she came in, she had her white paint on all the time. You don't know if she mixed with Indian. Well, it's definitely, you know she mixed with African. But it could be a few more mixtures, but you'll never know. Because, like I said, she's African, South African. Like her African ancestors, she know to put on the white paint on her face. And remember, African Americans, we say, oh, in vaudeville, oh, they used to use the black face. But they used to use the white face. That came from their African ancestors. I remember when I was small, all they had was makeup, or a teenager old enough to wear, all they had was white paste or pink paste. And I couldn't understand. Well, just like the royals. First, when they got rid of the ruling Africans, and those mixed race took the crown, took the chair, took the crown, they wasn't worried about looking white. Because they were lighter than the black Africans that they just put on prisoner of war ships and sent over to penal colonies. So they didn't worry about that. But then, this is why I tell you their mind don't change. But then, they had to be lighter than the other lights. That's when became gypsies and all these kind of things. Because we said, who's the whitest? None of you. You're all African. but the vilest kind. You unlife other Africans because that's what you are. That is the vilest. Don't like when it happened in Africa. Don't like it anywhere else. But I guess when you look at it, our Africa, a little while here back here, then we have the Tutsis and the Hutus. They did a couple of millions. So Africans killing Africans, I guess it came with the upright man a long, long time ago. But these royals, they're very powerful. And I asked, I was like, why do you need them? Because they don't break it down for you like that. Why do they need it? Well, one thing, to run this penal colony. These folks, these are wardens. Supreme Court wardens. Congressional wardens. Or as they say, legislative wardens. Senate wardens. Oh, governor wardens. Mayor wardens. Then you got your overseers. And of course you got the patty rollers. They don't do anything different. These are European Africans. They don't do anything different. So he runs all of that. That bullshit, well, Congress releases the money and then they sign. No! The King of Britain releases the money. That's why we ain't never getting reparation. That bitch in the crown and his bald-headed son will never give us a dime, though we've never done anything to them. But they're afraid that we will rise up at some point. And as far as they're concerned, they will never let it happen, though they are mixed race. I say, everything Britain. Britain. Europe. And the ones that used to get me really is in the South. Ooh, honey. They may not, what can I say? They may be the biggest mouth smokers going, but they love the crown. And they hate African Americans and any other brown skinned person. They love the crown. Child, they play their classical music. That's what they want to keep the classical. Oh, you know, we don't want to get into that rapping. We're going to keep classical music. Knock, knock. Anyone home, dumbasses? Again, Africans. They were in Europe. I told you, I realized that. The ancestors glue me in. I tell you, there's a lot of reading in my time because I kept asking, why? What? Who? What this? What this is? What? And then I remember Alfonso. He was a lawyer. And he worked at the library in British. He had retired. And he would constantly have books for me when I come in. And different passages. And different readings. And I would read it. We would talk. And then that would be it. But now as I'm closer to the exit door, they're coming together. All those classical musicians that were thrown in these group graves or whatever, These were mixed race, African European musicians. And that's why I tell these African Americans, lighten up. They have been taking your music for hundreds of years, centuries, and claiming it as their own. They've been doing it for a long time. This song, I'm Walking Y'all, I'll be dead, give it 15 years. A blue-eyed, light-skinned somebody be singing it. And I say, oh, it's so great, she loves it. Because it's her. Me, it's just helped me, keep me motivated to keep walking. But yeah, they'll take it. The chess song, oh yeah. The minute I'm in the ground, that's some teacher in up in Idaho, Utah, somewhere that sat down and put it together. Yeah. They didn't just start doing it. It started back in Europe. They started snatching the music from us back in Europe. And then, of course, the mixed race, they carried it on. And then they started throwing them in group raves and taking the music on as their own. So when they get ready to say, oh, we had rap and they took it. That's the cycle of what happens. That's what they do. That's centuries of that's what they do. Oh, I had an idea and it's good. And they took it. Yes, they did. You ain't getting no damn patent. They'll let a few African Americans get patent, but they ain't letting you get no patents. That's going to be under them. These European Africans don't change. They take it. Which don't make no sense. Because you say you don't like African people, African Americans. Hey, thanks for coming on the walk. I'll read your comment on it when we wrap up. You hate it. It's done. It's jungle this. It's this. But all of a sudden it's yours and you're making money. And then the African and the black man become no talented. You've been doing it for centuries. You just didn't start. You started doing that bullshit to us back in Europe. Lies. Lies. Out of Europe, everything black is bad. Black hat. Black disease. Black this. And I kept asking myself, holy guacamole. Why is everything that they call bad have black African Europeans? When you conquer a people, you enslave them. Wait, you make them prisoner of wars. You take their children. You enslave them. You totally discredit them. They're nothing. And that's what you're still doing. So no. Stop getting mad at African Americans. They've been doing that to us. The Whigs. The Royal Whigs. Out of Africa. The Pompadours, this thing. Out of Africa. But no, to hear these European Africans tell it, and one way, if they acknowledge the fact that they're African, you can say yes. But the fact that they hate Africans, why are you claiming they shit? That's the raw shit, honey. That's the royal shit. And as long as they are over this penal colony and many others, I be looking at the money on TV when I see they go places they do exchange with. These are places that are penal colony where only the Africans are kept at that subhuman subpar because they're descendants of prisoner of wars who were placed on those islands. And Europe, these European Africans will never forget that. They are so afraid that you may rise up again that they is not going to give you an inch. But the irony of it is, we don't even know. If I hadn't started to build a theme park devoted to African American culture and history and started digging, I would know. And when I found out, I couldn't accept it. I read it right there a few times. I said, no, they said in school is blah, 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 blah. White, all white. Here it is, it's saying this. No, it's not that. And them fucking Romans won't say African warriors. Won't say African nations. Calling them Romans. I laugh every time. I remember I went through, they have this out of Harvard, it's on CDs. It's professors' classes being recorded. And I went through 3 of them about 4 times on the Romans. It made absolutely no sense. Like a real bad fucking fiction book. Where the Romans at now? Africans all over. Where the Romans at? Where the Romans? Who's the Africans? Millennials? I'm just telling you who they are. Because I'm trying to tell you they don't do anything different. They lie. If they have any African in them, and they're at peace with that, then fine. But if they have African in them, and they can't stand it, that every African American walking on this penal colony is in danger, because he or she will do anything to say, ain't no African in me. If I gotta take out 20 to 30 African Americans to prove there ain't no African in me, I'll do that. That's strictly from the crown. That's the crown, y'all. That's the crown. The crown will never forget. In the archives in the basement. But as you see with the jewelries and stuff, and I've been saying for years, oh my gosh, because y'all had me fooled that they was white people. They European Africans. So that's why they go into Africa and take stuff. That's when they claim their Africanism. When they can go to Africa, take stuff, get shit. Then they're African. The only reason why would they want it is because they're African. If not, they wouldn't want African artifacts. When there's so many other artifacts, but they have to connect back to their roots. And it's coming from that bitch in the crown and his bald-headed son. The mixed races that threw the Africans out of Europe. And that's another thing. When I came to know myself, these European Africans here, through enslavement, not only from Europe, but then they come over here, they get rid of the African prisoner of war, put them on penal colonies, then they run behind them, jump in bed, start making all these mixed race babies all over again. This human experience, ha ha! No, whew. Love this body. This body is awesome. Never gave me a moment's worry. Always there for me. Kept a happy heart, a smile on my face, song in my heart. Taught me the importance of warmth, and the importance of movement, and the importance of loving myself. And that's what keeps me in. Not y'all. You European Africans, I wish I lived somewhere where I never, ever had contact with you. In any civilization, the lie is told that if you are hidden or out of the way civilization, that when you see these European Africans, they call themselves white people, but they are European Africans. Don't let them in your country. I know that place off India, that lets you know that the Africans were in India, but that's a whole nother thing. But the Africans stayed in the island, they had the whole thing, and if you come over and mess with them, they will unlife you. And the Indian government has given out warnings saying stay away from them, stay away from them. Man, oh man. They are so right. If they get off the boat, make them shark food. Don't give them no chance. They don't like you. They think themselves gods. They're just mixed race Africans. Beating their drums. Putting on their white powder makeup. Telling everybody they the better, best. And they're controlled by the royals. Just like this penal colony. Where your tax dollars go to? Don't y'all be bragging? Oh, the British have universal health care. And the British Hall. And the British Hall. Yeah. Y'all pay for it. It's a penal colony, not a country. And I said, what do you need the rules for? Why do you need rules? For all these penal colonies. Britain has so many penal colonies. That's what the royal take care of. Spain has so many penal colonies. That's what the royal takes care of. Portuguese, so many penal colonies. That's what the royal takes care of. The Hollanders, the Swiss, many penal colonies. That's what the royal takes care of. Them planes that you talk about, that you're so enamored of. The planes and the diamonds and the jewelry. Ha! Not me, honey. Ha ha! Oh, not me. Never. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and one for good luck. if you realize how dangerous they was, we would get together, go to England, beat that bald-headed bitch with his father's crown, or the other South American countries and stuff, and the other French countries, beat their ass and get your tax money back because they sitting up there and you're admiring them. Oh, I'm so happy the king has 20 airplanes, but I don't have nothing to eat. Squeeze your gut, tuck in your elbow, neither up nor down. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and 1 for good luck. Yeah, y'all, yeah. Let me read these messages. Thanks for coming on the walk. I start off so sore, but I tell you the truth. After this walk, y'all don't see it. I be moving and grooving. Hey, Sammy Clips. Oh, keep preaching, Auntie. Thank you, love. Dave T. Anderson. You bringing Granny love. Thank you for the love. Hey, Ashley. Glad to see you, too. I am sticking with it. Yes, I'm glad you was able to catch a stream, too. Y'all know, we just doing this 40 minutes to the end of the month. And then we go back to our 30 minutes. Let's see, what countries would you like to see someday? I got to tell you something. From what I'm seeing, there's very few places where African Americans are really welcome and could live in some relatively halfway decent place. So no, I got PTSD from being on this penal colony. I think everywhere you go, they after African American people, they gonna do some fucked up shit to you if you're African American. So thank you, no. I just want to enjoy this time I have with this body. It makes me happy. It makes me laugh. I love when we exercise. And I just want to spend the rest of this time loving this body. And then we have separation of matter and energy. And my human experience is gone. So that was a long answer, right, Ashley? None. I don't feel as an African American I would be safe in any country I went to. Hey, thanks for coming on the walk. Like, comment, share. Tell an uncle, tell an auntie, tell a cousin, tell a friend to subscribe and exercise with me. Have a good evening, and I'll see you tomorrow. Thanks for coming on the walk.